Hey guys, welcome back to another Friday episode of the Average Money Podcast, where Brad and I sit down and we answer your guys' questions. If you guys want to get featured on the Average Money Podcast, you guys can leave us a voicemail by clicking the link down below in the show notes. Also, if you guys are a part of the Discord, we do now have a Discord available. You guys can sign up through Patreon. It's a way to support the channel. Brad and I have been getting actually a lot of feedback, a lot of questions about, hey guys, how can we help support you? You know, we want to fly back and forth and do these in person to help better the quality of the podcast. And we didn't really know what to say. Like, Brad and I have kind of talked about it, and we both have our own Discords and we do them through our own personal Patreons. And we thought, what a better way to give the listeners value by having this Discord set up. So it's pretty cool. We're excited to have that, and you guys can click the voicemails and all the links to help us support us over there as well in the Discord. But as always, my name is JJ, and I am with the one and only, the craft beer man himself, the genius, Brad Finn. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm drinking Budweiser, so most craft beer drinkers would say, I don't know what the F I'm talking about, but I'm pretty good at drinking beer, and I do know more about beer than the average individual. How you doing, bud?
I'm good. I will say this. Today's episode comes from a personal friend of mine in the YouTube finance space, and his question hits at home because I kind of experienced this and did this myself, and I'm very, very excited to answer his question. Now, as always, listeners, Brad and I don't discuss. We each listen to the voicemail, but to keep it raw, to keep it, to give our own opinions, and so we don't sway one way or the other, we kind of keep it to ourselves of what our answers is going to be. So it keeps it, it's more real. You know what I mean? Like we get to give each other's honest opinions on these questions.
I don't even know which one we're doing tonight. But from your clues, is it Trevor's episode tonight? Like, I don't even know which question we got tonight.
It is Trevor's episode. Yes. Or his question, and I'm very excited to hear your thoughts, but I'm also excited to answer it for myself because this is something that I think a lot of younger people have a hard time with, especially in today's society, but not only the younger generation. Any time frame in life, I feel like this question goes through a human's head. It has to, because there's so many times where you're like, am I doing the right thing? Is this really what I want out of life? So, you want me to roll the question real quick, Brad?
I'm so pumped that you picked this episode right now because like I said, I didn't know which one you were going to pick. And for the viewers at home, JJ kind of just rocks one at me. I've heard it before, but I don't know which one he's going to roll into the intro. And I'm pumped for this one. So yeah, JJ, roll Trevor's question. He's got a good one for everybody.
All right, so yeah, today's voicemail does come from Trevor Hassel, a fellow friend, YouTuber of mine, and here is his question.
Hey, what's going on, JJ and Brad? Love the podcast, guys. Keep it up. My question for you here is going to be talking about finding a balance between delaying gratification when you're young and just living life, right? That's something I struggled with, to try to find a balance. I do a really good job of delaying gratification, but I'm starting to wonder if I should maybe start spending a little bit more money and start living a little bit more. To give you some color on my situation, I'm 22 years old. I'm about to graduate college here this year, and I have no debt. I have no expenses. Net worth right now is around $400,000. Most of that is in the stock market, and I kind of want to start traveling a little bit more. A lot of big life decisions are going to come at me here within the next year, meaning I'm going to move out of my parents' place, go probably live with my girlfriend. I'm going to start, doing some things that are going to require a lot more money. Again, I have no debt. I have no expenses right now. So I want to make sure I set myself up for the future, obviously. My question is, I kind of want to travel a little bit. And by traveling, I mean, my girlfriend's a teacher, and so she has the summers off. And I was thinking about possibly buying an RV for like a year or, just for the summertime, and we go travel, United States, and kind of travel around a little bit. Now, I just want to make sure if that's a stupid decision, or should I just be like, you know what? I should just live life a little bit and enjoy it. I make great money. I love my job. I can work from wherever. So I'm thinking, do I delay gratification and not buy this? Or do I just suck it up and buy it and enjoy? Thanks, guys.
I think this is going to be a great episode for people because he mentioned he's 22. You're 29, but we're a month out. So you're 30.
Yeah.
And I'm at the later ages of 30. I'm pretty much 40. So in this episode, we kind of get a 20, 30, and 40-year-old perspective on what's going on. But before you do, I want to say, like, Trevor, dude, you're sad, dude.
Oh,
like,
God.
stop wasting your time talking to us. But good.
No, I mean, the dude's 22 years old, $400,000 net worth.
If you're watching on YouTube, when he said that, JJ almost damn near fell out of his chair. But then, as fast as I can say that, it's not as simple as being like you're set, because at 22, regardless of the amount of money you have some major things that are going to impact your financial future depending on the roads that you take. So I think it's good to get I'm glad to, although I'm super jealous, I wish I had a net worth of $400K when I was 22 years old. I still think I can add value to Trevor's life by giving him a little bit of that boomer. Like, you're in the middle. Like, I'll be the boomer, bad cop, you be the good cop, and we'll get.
All right.
I don't think Trevor needs us, but I think what we can add to the conversation is definitely valuable.
Yeah, no, I agree. So I'll start this off, and I'm going to go back a little bit to 5 years ago, JJ and my wife, Lindsay. So, Trevor, we were in your shoes, except my wife and I were married and we were 24. So we were 2 years older than you and your girlfriend are right now. And I still remember clear as day, we were living in Kansas City and we were sitting on a rooftop bar and we were having a couple drinks with Lindsay's mom. And we were just, shooting the shit, talking about life, young 24-year-olds. We had our head on our shoulders. We were, wanting to be successful, but we didn't know quite how to get there. We just both graduated college, had decent paying jobs, and we both felt like, is this it? Like, we're 24. We spent all this time going through school, high school. Both my wife and I were pretty strict on our studies in college because we knew we wanted to graduate and get good paying jobs. And once we got to that point, it's kind of like you hit this wall of like, what the hell is next? Like, once you get that job that you're so worried about and focused on from such a young age, and then you get to this job and then you start seeing management who has been in your shoes and they're now 30 years ahead of you. And you look at that and you're just kind of like, is that what I want to do? Or is that the route I want to take? And for me, it wasn't. And I know I'm kind of getting a little in deep with this question, but I think this is very important to my answer. And as I was doing that, and every day I was going to this job, and I'll be honest with it, I hated the job, to be honest. But that also focused me on to think about what kind of life do I want to live? But not only that, how short life really is. So I lost my grandpa when I was like in 8th grade, and I still remember to this day thinking to myself like, it was a tragic accident, and I remember telling myself that any day could be your last day on this earth, so live it to your fullest. And I'm trying not to get like inspirational JJ here, but I got to, because this goes hand in hand with Trevor's question. There's so many things we can do on this earth. There's so many things that is up to us as the human being, that we make the final decision of how our lives are going to be lived. So if you want to live a life set in a cubicle, earn your 9-to-5 income, and that's it, there is nothing wrong with that at all. But if you're a different type of person, and maybe you want to get out and you want to see the world, you want to be like Trevor and you want to buy that RV with your girlfriend and travel around the United States for a summer because you got the summers off, your girlfriend does, and you can work from wherever. I'm going to answer this, and I'm sure a lot of you listeners can already tell where I'm going with this, but this, Trevor, this is a must, man. Not only are you set up financially so well ahead of probably 99% of 22-year-olds out there, the experience, the life memories, everything you're going to gain from this trip is so worth it. So to back up a little bit, 5 years ago, JJ, when we were on that rooftop bar drinking with Lindsay's mom, having a couple cocktails, talking about life, I came up with this weird idea of like, so my dad and I have always talked about one of our goals was like to live on an island. It's just something we've always said how cool it would be, you know, like some Midwest boys that, you know, the closest thing to like water is just a grungy old,
Never seen an ocean before.
literally like, you know, it's just a grungy old lake to how cool would it be to live on like a paradise island. And Hawaii was always like that prestige place for us to go. And whenever we were on that rooftop bar, I still remember this day. I'm like, babe, why don't we live in Hawaii? And she kind of looked at me. She's like, what? And I always have these like weird ideas and kind of things to think about. But I was like, no, seriously, like we could do it, you know, like, and our circumstances were set up financially. We were well off being able to do that. We paid off our debts. Lindsay was a nurse, so she was able to do travel nursing out to Hawaii. So there's like some things that got us out there. But that's not the point I'm making. The point I'm making is we decided to figure out how to make it happen. And we did it. And I will tell you this, Trevor, it was the best decision we have ever made in our lives. Because I will tell you this, every damn time Hawaii pictures pop up on our memories on Facebook, Lindsay and I are literally like, gosh dang it.
Isn't it your banner on YouTube?
That was literally my picture up on the channel before I even made videos. And I was like, and that's also the background I have on my computers in every single video is the Moke Islands on Oahu, because that is mine and my wife's favorite place on this planet, because it's the memories, the experiences we had together there. And I will say this, no one knows this yet. Brad, I haven't even told you this yet. I don't think I have. We will be spending 4 to 6 weeks in Hawaii around April or May time to just kind of get away. I'll still be working and still doing the podcasts and videos and whatnot. But I just want to reiterate how important doing these life changes and taking that step to go do something crazy like buy an RV and travel around the U.S. because of the experiences and the memories you're going to gain from that is so much worth. It's worth so much more rather than having that like not instant gratification, putting your head down, working to where you're going to lift your head up one day. You're going to have 2 kids. You're going to have a house payment. You're going to have so much going on. You're going to be like, what the hell happened? Like you're almost going to feel stuck. So do it now while you can. But I'm also going to say at 20, 30, 40 years old, you can still make it happen. It's just a little harder.
Yeah. I mean, I love sometimes when there's episodes where I can kind of take the reins and you kind of sit back and listen. This is something I love watching you talk about, you know, the future, because I'm so envious, even back to Trevor being 22 years old. And everything that I'm about to say, Trevor, understand this. I would consider myself, and the people that know me, follow me, and close to me would probably say that I'm financially set. I'm good to go. I will be 39 in March. I'm good to go. 2 years ago, I had a $189,000 worth of debt, and I had a net worth of minus $29,000 at 37 years of age. So in 2 years, I've gone from having 3 years. Let's call it 3. In 3 years, I've gone from having a negative net worth to what most would consider pretty good. We don't need to talk numbers. So at worst case scenario, you have 15 years to get to a net worth of minus $29,000, and at 39, you can be doing just as good as this guy. I won't get as emotional, but I mean, maybe I will. But maybe I'll joke sometimes when I avoid being vulnerable with jokes. So I'm going to tell you a couple of things that I wish I knew when I was 22. 1, live with your parents as long as you can. Not for the money, but for the experience. I lost my mom back in 2009. She was 50 years old. I lost my dad 2 years ago. I'm currently living in the house that I grew up in. I'm sitting in the basement, which was once my bedroom when I lived with my 3 brothers and my parents. And I remember when I left this bedroom, I thought it was the coolest day of my life. But I wish I never would have left. Now you have a girlfriend, so sometimes living in your mom's basement isn't always the coolest thing. But I think the point is, don't move out just because you live at your parents' house. Move out because you're ready to do so. Next, your girlfriend. I'm sure you love her a lot. I've loved many girlfriends, but make decisions on your happiness until she's your wife. That's just my own personal opinion.
So true.
Yeah, like as much as you love her, that can change tomorrow and not to get religious or spiritual, but until you commit, you're still your own individual people. So you have to make the decisions of, I'm going to do what makes me happy, and hopefully my girl will come along for the ride. And the day and this is a side point, the day you know she's going to go for the ride, marry her. Get her done. I'm a teacher, so I appreciate your willingness to travel while she's not working. Know this. The travel industry knows when teachers are off, so it becomes very expensive to travel when teachers are off. As far as RVs, I know that many people do that, and I don't know if your work is internet based, but it might be something to look into if you might need to use the internet. Like, I don't know, but your ability, Trevor, to find work-life balance is effing incredible. And to be 29 with the head on your shoulders has nothing to do with personal finance. I feel like, and this is
22.
22. I'll give another analogy. Every single gymnast, I've been a teacher now for 15 years. Every single gymnast I've ever had as a student has always been good in school. And I kind of found that to be a really good gymnast takes hard work, perseverance. It takes commitment. Like, you can't learn to do pull-ups overnight. You have to be committed over time. And I feel like sometimes school kind of aligns with that. Now, I'm not telling everyone to go out being a gymnast, but what I'm saying is I see a common trend of people your age that if you're at a net worth of $400,000 at 22 years of age, bud, you almost can't mess it up. Enjoy the ride. And this is, I think, what JJ was trying to say. Like, there is definitely short-term gratification and long-term gratification. I think that was really the point of your question. And I'll say this as the person that's going into 39, that as a social media influencer that still refuses to this day to go on TikTok. I say it because you can just go and be you. And the difference between needing long-term and short-term gratification depends on how much you give a crap what other people think about you. And the day, as a 39-year-old, I'm probably one of the most content people you'll ever talk to. The thing that's different between me and other people is it's not that I give zero fucks. Like, I don't want to say that. But what I found so much happiness that I know the small circle that I have. And I don't have many friends from high school anymore. I don't have many friends from college. But I'll tell you, I have friends that I've had for 6 months that are more valuable as far as friendship to me than I've had my whole life. So you don't need to worry about long-term and short-term gratifications, because the people in my life at 39 years old don't give a crap. You know, the things that are most important to me. And one day, hopefully you're blessed with children. My 3-year-old daughter doesn't give a crap how many subscribers I have. My 3-year-old daughter does not give a shit what my net worth is. And I've had to find this work-life balance later in life, because you're going to face continual work-life balances. My work-life balance right now is, do I scroll Instagram and respond to comments, or do I build blocks and have a tea party with my daughter? And then you get shook into this position where the people close, my best friends don't care how many YouTube, they don't care. I'm not just talking kids. My best adult friends, my wife. I tell my wife, hey, babe, 33,000 subscribers today. She's like, oh, the YouTube thing? Cool.
Cool, Brad.
Cool, Brad. And just like you, this was going to be, I said I wasn't going to get emotional. And that's kind of when I get boomer and when I blab about this, that's how you know, like, I'm getting emotional about it. I don't know how to say it enough. And I think we can kind of just lock the episode up with this. Like, yeah. I'm so happy for Trevor, and I don't even have any words of advice to give to him. I can only tell the stories that I've done, because the stories that he's going to tell when he gets to my age are going to be far superior than anything that I could possibly come up with. And at the end of the day, stay positive, work really, really hard, Trevor, and always just be very, very kind to other people, and you're gonna kill.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with you so much on that, Brad. Like,
I don't even remember what his question was, JJ. I just knew it had to do with like, hey man, I'm young, I want to YOLO. You're old, you're YOLOing. What should I do? Like, was that it? Like, you're the one that you got me emotional when you started talking about living free. I totally forgot what Trevor's question was.
No, man. I mean, it comes down to like making that decision of, do you want to live that extra exciting life, or do you want to live just the typical grind? And for me personally, I want to create as many experiences on this earth to where if I, God forbid, if I die tomorrow, I know that my wife and my family will know that I was a happy man.
I want to give a quick story too, because that's what you said. Like, following up on that, when just before I started my Dave Ramsey Baby Steps Brad, my finance journey, my grandmother passed away, and I got like a $9,000 inheritance from her. I had a ton of debt. I remember talking with my uncle. I'm like, I feel like I should just put this towards my debt. And my uncle was like, no, grandma was a traveler. You should have traveled. She would never want you to pay bills with that money. So my wife and I, we never went on a honeymoon because we lived a life of frugality. We did a bunch of this, bunch of that. We traveled. I think we went to a Rangers playoff game, which is one hockey game, but it might as well have been a honeymoon. We went to Boulder, Colorado. We did all these things. Then we learned about Dave Ramsey a couple years later, and she heard me say in a video, and this video is still live on YouTube, that I should have spent that money. It was a waste that I spent that money on those vacations. And she didn't even know I had a YouTube channel, but she kind of knew. This was early on. Maybe I'll post that video in the show notes so you can see way back when I called that a mistake. My wife was like, that we had just started dating. You took me on the time of a life. Like, we got to see things that we will never see again with our kids. We got to do things like, she's like, I understand, Brad, that you think it would have been more financially efficient for you to take that money and spend on your debt, but don't ever, ever, ever say again publicly that those memories that we made and the time that we spent together was a waste and that you regret that. And I was like, you are so right. It's so true. I could have paid off debt, but those memories, even though the Capitals scored a goal with 3 seconds to go in the third period when I thought we had just forced overtime and we were going to go for the big one. And then I got in a fight with the guy below me and he had a kid there. And my wife was like,
New York Brad's coming out.
Yeah, but you can't get in a fight with a kid. These guys got a kid here. Point being, I feel like Trevor didn't get an inheritance, but by doing the things he's done, and this is back to the first point I made before I went on a rant. If you get to 37 years old and you can be $129,000 worth of net worth and $189,000 worth of debt, you could be a millionaire by 40. So good luck trying to take that net worth from 400 down to minus 29,000. And I hope that I'm still alive when you get to tell the story of that trip from 22 to 40.
Yeah, I mean, to wrap this up, I mean, Brad, you hit it perfect. And it really does go to show just how much more valuable experiences are in life. And if that means you want to take a year off and you want to just freaking travel the world, go do it. I tell Lindsay all the time, my wife, I say, you know, if Mason or Millie, my son or daughter, gets to 18 years old and they come to me and they're like, Dad, like, I don't know what to do. I don't want to go to college. I don't really know what I want to do yet. I'm so young. I'm going to tell them and be like, okay, go work a job, save up some money to where you can fund yourself to go travel the world or, you know, go see the world. Because I will say this from traveling, and I haven't like seen the whole world by any means, but I have done a decent amount of traveling. The experiences you get to learn, the stuff you learn about yourself, it just opens you up to, especially from a guy like me that comes from like a small town and everyone around me is kind of like the same. I never got to see different cultures. I never got to see different ways that people live, man, traveling can just change the type of person you are. But I will say this, Trevor, beware. And my wife and I experience this right now. The memories you're going to create from this trip. And I think Brad and I are both kind of on the same page. Like, go do it.
Yeah.
Go do this trip. Is that it's going to motivate you throughout your life to make decisions to be able to live a life like that the rest of your life. You want to make the decisions to where you can be financially free to say, hey, the next summer, let's buy an RV and let's go, across the states. So, guys, I mean, Brad, do you have anything else to add to that, or?
No, I mean, this was a good one, and
It was a very good one.
I'm not going to say that any question's better or worse than the others, but we love speaking from personal experience. It's one thing when we can read stats and we can read financials, and we like telling our story, and our story is relatable and it's average. And I love the fact that I'm talking to a 22-year-old kid right now, and that's literally almost double my lifetime. And he values my opinion, and I sure as hell value his.
Yeah, I mean, Trevor's killing it, man. He really is. Well, first of all, Trevor, thank you so much for the question, man. I hope you got your question answered out of this long.
If we didn't, we're drinking. I'm sorry.
But no, seriously, man, it hit a spot at home for me. This one, when I heard the voicemail come in, I got really excited because this is something that I value very deeply in my life, and that is a work-life balance, but also like getting out there and having those experiences to think about. Because, when we are on our deathbed, wherever that may be, at 20, at 30, at hopefully, 90, 100 plus, we will have those memories to go back on. You'll have those memories of you and your girlfriend, if she turns into be your wife, that you guys spent that summer, in the RV traveling the United States. I mean, it's incredible to have. But guys, I'm gonna wrap this episode up here. I do want to say quickly, Brad and I really do appreciate every single one of you that are listening to the podcast. I will say this: we are starting to see some pretty major growth. It's exciting. Brad and I are getting messages of like new listeners that are finding us organically just through the podcast world. However that happens, I don't know, but it's pretty exciting to see this kind of hobby of what Brad and I would do before we would even record. And we finally decided to say, hey, man, we need to record these conversations. And it's turned into something really exciting. And I'm excited to see where this community grows over the next 2021, 2022, these next couple of years. It's going to be exciting. I do quickly want to say again, guys, if you do want to help support the podcast, we did recently just open up a Discord. You'll get early access to all of our episodes, able to ask questions to Brad and I real time, because we are in Discord pretty much almost every day except the weekends. So you guys can go through that through Patreon. There is a link down below in the description. But with all that being said, guys, I do want to say again, thank you all so much. It really does mean the world to Brad and I that you guys are taking the time out of your day to listen to our podcast. And with that being said, you guys take care.